Hello and welcome to Saved by the Bell, the Bel-Air Aftershow. Today we're talking about Season 4, Episode 2, and we're going to get right into it. Of course, joined with me as always are my co-hosts Gyasi Clemens and Leon Nolan. Hello, guys. How are you?
What's up? What's up, guys?
Going on.
Great to have you guys back. All right, let's get right into the episode. So, this was the homecoming dance episode, and I gotta say, maybe it's because I'm an older gentleman, but the idea of like this elaborate sort of spectacle to ask someone out to dance. When did that come about? Have you guys ever experienced that? Are you young enough to have experienced that when you went to high school? Is that like a big thing? Because they seem to make it like a big thing in the
I mean, I
So,
show.
don't know. I was gonna say I don't know about the spectacle. I do remember people like having signs. Like I
Signs.
remember that was kind of like coming on or so around my
yeah,
time.
I think I'm noticing that Bel-Air is kind of like a hyper realized version of like everything because
Yeah.
they do usually for prom. I would say more so than homecoming, but they do what they can. So they do balloons,
Hmm.
signs, kind of like Nolan said. But I did make a note that you watch. I was like, wow, they really like treated it like a wedding proposal, like
I
all these
know.
different. And then I was laughing when everyone would clap every time. I was like, this is so funny how they're filming this. But yeah, like it's kind of like everything with like the dramaticness of it is kind of like a hyper realized version how they usually do it. But they
Yeah.
do signs and prom is usually a big thing.
Yeah. Well, we'll ask, of course. Oh, God. Excuse me. We'll ask Lisa, and of course, why not? Of course, he was going to do that. But that there really wasn't much to that portion of the story. And then the high school stuff happened. Other people asked other people, and we'll get to those in a minute in terms of their particular stories.
Mm-hmm.
But after the sort of, nice sort of homecoming funness, things that kind of brought down to the real world, and we have the introduction of White Cess by what was the guy's name? The white guy's name?
He's been a problem since episode 1. I forget
I
his
know.
name.
I feel like his name is Trevor or something. He looks
Trevor.
like a Trevor.
Yeah, I believe it. Anyway, so they're trying to, ruffle the feathers. And so what's funny is Trevor relents after Carlton gets on him about it, but his buddy doesn't. And,
Mm-hmm.
they don't understand why what they're doing is totally inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a little fight in the halls, and then that kind of ends up basically nixing all of the sort of diversity groups within the school. And so then there has to be the homecoming dance at another location. Before we go into that portion of the story, what do we think of this kind of like white cess conflict there? Contrived or interesting or I don't know, anything to that story beat?
I mean, one, it was corny.
Corny.
I mean, going back to just black sis in general, when they came out with that last season and they were getting bankrolled and behind that, I'm like, give me a break. So, um, to be honest, from a completely I don't care standpoint, like they had a legit argument. Like, you guys have black sis, why can't we have white sis? Like, to be quite honest. So all in all, like I just think the whole black sis thing, I've always thought it was corny. And just to see this pop up and the guy was like, if you can do that, why can't we do that? Why can't we have one, celebrating us or whatever? Despite, the social and economic and other factors that I think it was Will started listing out about why they did Black Cess or whatever. Um, yeah, it just for me it was just kind of like these guys are doing it in jest. Clearly, they're not really trying to be Black Cess. It was just a running joke or whatever. So that's all I took it as. But it definitely was like, yeah, they made a joke of your joke because Black Cess to me is a joke in itself. So yeah, I mean that's
Quite
all I
quite the
got to say.
expensive joke, actually. They have to like get all those
Yeah,
shirts
get the
and
merch and
sweaters
everything.
Yeah, that everybody wants to wear. Like, come on, man. It's
Yeah.
just black cis on a black shirt. Like, come like, what?
So I'll say
It's all the rage.
I'll say it is interesting. Like, yeah, the black dress in general. Like, I mean, obviously, I think the concept is a little heavy handed, just in the sense of like, oh, everyone's wearing this, everyone wants this. Like, this is so cool. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, all these people really wouldn't just want a shirt just with the word black dress on it. But I guess in the show, that's how that's what's considered popular. But I do get like I think a lot of people do have that would have that mindset that like I think his name was Connor actually or something like that has where it's like, oh, well, why can't we do this? And there's legitimate reasons, and I think it um I'm glad that they responded to it. Like we'll list it, well, it's systemic for us, it's not the same. Like, there's busing, there was laws put in place that stopped us from being able to have success. So that's why we're trying to celebrate this versus the other side. But I don't know if it I don't know if it fully delivered the way that they probably thought it would. I wish if they were going to do that, they would have went a little deeper into it instead of just, because like kind of like don't say a lot of people would think, why can't we celebrate us? And it's like, well, it's different than just celebrating yourself. It's like, trying to, kind of recover some of the things that have happened in the past. So, but I don't know. I did laugh so hard when they came out with that. I was like, oh, this is a joke. Like, I'm glad it was I'm glad it was presented as a senior prank though, and not like we legit. Because when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, they're legit starting this like, is this going to be the storyline?" Now there's two competition brands. Like, I'm glad they didn't go that deep, and they were like, "Nah, it literally is a prank." And then they just explain why the prank is inappropriate. But so I give them props there. But I still, yeah, I mean, I agree with Nolan. This is like Black Lives is still like they kind of like size it up like this is some revolutionary thing with the backers and the dance and everything. But I mean, like I just wish they went deeper into the why. It
No,
didn't make sense.
you made me think about the dance. I know that's later on in the episode. Yo, that's gotta be the corniest thing. Yo, I forgot all. Oh my God, I'm loud just like that. We bring it up too. Yeah, let's keep it rolling. I forgot all about that.
I guess we'll talk about that when we get to the homecoming dance portion
Yeah.
of the show. And I guess we should kind of treat that as its own thing because obviously we want to talk about this in the stages of the story. So Carlton decides to ask Marissa, right? I believe Amira. I
Amira.
can't keep these names straight.
No, Amir is the
Amira's the ex
rehab.
girlfriend.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Marissa, I believe. Who's the one who's is it Marissa?
Ah.
I really should have like
we're gonna
taken
say
notes.
cheerleader. We're gonna say cheerleader captain. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
So Carlton goes with the cheerleader that is interested in and takes, decides to go there. Of course,
Her name is
Amira
Marissa.
is
Her name is Marissa.
okay, good.
Hmm.
Right.
Good memory.
Amira
Good
is
memory, Dave. Because I did not know that.
I'm trying. Amira is of course jealous and sees this, but then Amira gets, asked out, and then it looks like Carlton is jealous, and this extends when we get into the dance area. But, um, you know, I think I like the way that their sort of relationship resolved at the end of this episode because I'm like
Hmm.
I was kind of getting a little tired of it after two
Hmm.
episodes of this sort of
Yeah.
will they, won't they, what's Carlton's deal? I mean, like just move on with your life, man.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah,
y'all.
that whole thing was. I mean, it's. I mean, I'm trying to. I want to say it's corny, but then I'm trying to remember like this is high school. Like people was doing corny stuff like this in high school, but I also don't
Yeah.
remember girls asking guys to prom or to homecoming or whatever. So
Right.
the fact that Carlton got asked by the cheerleader, and she kind of got it coordinated with her other squad members, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
and stuff like. I'm like, all right, shoot, that's shoot, she wants you, man. Like, like that's and she on the cheerleading squad and the whole like, hey Banks, catch the ball. He catches the football. He's like, no, it's actually for her next to you. And she's like, yeah, I'll go to prom. Like, yeah, not prom, home. Come on, man, give me a break, man. Like, how can this be just so like cookie cutter corny as they writing it or whatever? So now we got Carlton feeling a kind of way or whatever, but it's like, dude, like just like you said, like it's time to move on from that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and since we're talking about Amira, since she's she just touchdown at Bel-Air, but now she's like the leader of the dance squad or something now. Like,
There was an
like,
opening, I
what?
guess.
What? Like she was teaching them like the eight counts and everything. I'm like, yo, what? She just been here 2 days. Like what is going on, man? Like, I'm
She that
trying to tell
good.
you,
She's
man.
that
I
good.
just I gotta cut my brain off sometimes when I'm watching this show because I really be like, I'd be pausing for the cause, like what were these writers doing? Like, we just throwing everything thing on the board into these episodes at this point.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, so I think the idea of the girl asking the guy out, is probably a more of a trend of modern times. It's
Hmm.
2025, so I guess that happens more often. And like, didn't they have like a whole dance called the Sadie Hawkins dance that was just supposed to be the girl would ask the guy, or like that was the point of the dance? I don't know. I never participated in that, but
Really? Hmm.
yeah. So Will and Carlton are doing their thing, and then of course we have Ashley getting a little bit of more story actually this season, or at least this episode, I should say,
Yeah.
where she gets asked by her they them boyfriend, and then that sparks a little bit of a lovers quarrel between her and her ex, I guess, which I can't remember her name, the girl's name, the one that called her a flip flopper.
Yeah.
But she gets called out as a flip flopper for going from girls to boys, I guess, or one person to another. I don't really know. But she gets into a little bit of a tiff with some of the other students, and that gets her into a little bit of trouble. Any thoughts on Ashley's little bit of story in this first part of the show of the episode?
I
I
guess. I
mean,
mean, yeah. They're trying to, like you said, it seems like they're trying to, since it is the last season, I guess they're trying to flesh her out a little bit more because it's not
Yeah,
like they have later seasons to kind of do more of her character.
spinoff,
I,
spinoff.
yeah, oh yeah, you know what? That could be cool. But
Just Ashley.
just actually, go and her going to college is probably going to be the spinoff. But no, so yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know if it's the most interesting to watch. I think it's funny because I was on the last season when she really liked this girl and it was played up as such like a cute like crush thing that like turned the relationship and the girl was so sweet and now she's just like calling her the B word in front of everyone and I'm like, oh, I
Hmm.
guess I guess this character like just kind of just threw the other girl's character away. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how interesting it is to watch. I still don't know how I feel about the guy that she's talking to or the person she's talking to because of the whole, are they a bad influence? Like they kind of just going with the punches and so and so.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I don't know. I don't like that. This is actually like focus. If I, I guess trying to break away from the legacy of everyone else. Like it could be a concept. I don't know. I hope they treat it a little more seriousness. I would say next couple episodes.
Did she kiss that girl in a previous episode? Was there ever a kiss between them, or was it just hinted at that they
I
were
want to
together? I
say
can't remember.
no. I want to say there wasn't like anything
yeah,
physical.
I think we would have talked about that. That would have stuck
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I would just say about Ashley though. She must have been listening to some Rihanna this past summer. She's on her good
Yeah,
girl
she's on
gone
her
bad.
Breaking
It's
Bad,
like,
man.
yo, she it's so forced. Like it's crazy. Like Ashley was, you know, looking what was she fighting for? Like was like human rights or something or
Last season.
like 2 seasons ago or whatever. Like what I can't remember what her they were trying to like run with her
Yeah.
subplot or something. And like I said, now she's just like it's like them hormones just kicked in. It's like she's going crazy at this point. At least that's how they're writing her to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yo, Ashley, she on that type of time right now. Like she's spilling the
Mm-hmm.
beans on the pregnancy. She
Mm-hmm.
she she beating chicks up. She she like she on one right now. So yeah, I mean she definitely told I think it was Will or Carlton that she didn't want to like live in their shadow or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
she's definitely carving out her niche right now. Don't know if that's good or bad at this point, but we'll see how it goes. But it's definitely I feel like it's just a complete 180 and it's so forced
Yeah.
on getting her involved with with so many things. I guess she has to be involved at this point because now she's at school with them. She's not
Hmm.
in the middle school, kind of watching them from afar. She is Carlton,
Yeah.
student body president or whatever he was, little sister and everything, same school or whatever. So yeah, I guess there is that angle of her trying to find herself, but yeah, I'm not a fan of her arc. I mean, it hasn't really been much in the past, but I mean, there's definitely more now to pull from and talk about. But it's just like I said, it just seems so forced right now, like and just so out of character from the little that we did gather from her over the last seasons. I'm not
Hmm.
not all impressed.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, before we move on to the actual homecoming dance, because that kind of is like the culmination of the episode, let's talk a little about Viv, Phil, and Jeffrey because their three stories are kind of aligned with one another. And basically, it's Jeffrey's like, "Hey, the bad guys said you have to launder the money, otherwise, it's going to be bad for you." And Viv is like scared that they're going to be in trouble, and then the house gets broken into, and then Phil is like, "Ugh, I didn't want to have to break the law, but I guess I have to find a way to make this work." And then they go to meet with the mob boss, who I guess is Jeffrey's sister or adopted sister, and we kind of see how that goes down, and it doesn't end too well for the boys. Obviously, we'll talk about the cliffhanger that the episode leaves us on. But what are our thoughts on sort of the trouble that Jeffrey's in and the way he's pushing Phil into this sort of, I don't know, life of crime, I guess, against his will almost.
Once
I had
again,
some. Oh yeah, go ahead, Nolan.
nah, I was going. I mean, this whole arc just sums up in this one phrase. Once again, multi-million-dollar homes, $0 security system.
I know, right?
It's just like,
Anybody can get in
like
there.
Yeah, it's
man,
like if you
like
ever watch Arrow, like or Flash, there was a joke that like anyone could get in the Starr
oh
Labs at
No,
any
nah,
time.
what was
yeah,
the
yeah,
joke?
yeah,
Yeah, it was a running
yeah.
joke. Like this, and they made a joke about it in the show. They were like, "The security here is not good." Someone broke in every episode.
Oh
But
my
what's
God.
funny is if you leave the house, they know you left, but they just don't know when you come in. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not going to expound on this. It's so out of character for so many reasons. Um, but yeah, I mean, to me, like the biggest thing was I could understand if they wrote like, there's a break in it, the alarm went off, and we rushed home, and we see our house broken into like that. But it's like they just casually walked up, like no,
Yeah,
they didn't notice the gate broken open, they didn't notice anything off. They just walk in and everything's just kind of ramshacked, and they're like, oh my god,
yeah.
what
No, that's
happened? So.
yeah. The
yeah,
idea that a multi-million-dollar home like theirs on its own estate could get broken into without a million alarms and the police showing
yeah,
up automatically. Like, no, like,
yeah. They
come
don't
on,
really think it
Phil.
all the way, dude.
I mean, there are robberies like in Brentwood and in California now. Like all those celebrity houses get broken into, but the alarms also
I'm
do
about to say
go
they're at
off.
least notified. They know something's going on.
That's the thing. That's all I'm asking. Like, can we at least have a silent alarm or
Yeah, because they
something
just
go
walked
off?
in looking around like, what's going on?
Man, like, come on, man.
But I will say, like, I guess in story, I don't know. I feel like Uncle Phil still isn't really being the best friend of Jeffrey. Like, it seems like even though Jeffrey's trying to put him in a tough spot, I think he was being like a little dismissive or wasn't like, hey, let's talk about it. Or I'll find a way. I'll figure out a way to get us out of this. He was just like, tell him no and just walked away. I don't know. I'm still feeling weird about Uncle Phil's treatment of Jeffrey. It seems like it's not a lot of empathy. It seems like being shown.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. It is an interesting situation that they create for the show, and I'll interesting to see how it resolves.
Yeah,
Because again, it's like he keeps pushing and pushing, and it's like it's kind of gonna. I imagine it'll come to a head later on in the season,
yeah.
in some sort of really big fashion. Um, but I guess we should move on to then the homecoming dance because that's the next major piece of the story that
Well, yo,
happens.
before we get there, Dave,
Hmm.
I think there is one person we probably need to talk about, Lisa.
Okay.
She did have like a little, she wanted to,
Oh, of
she's
course.
considered the good girl,
Yeah.
is making a joke
Yeah,
about her. and she went to a mirror while she was being a dance captain and asked her, what did she ask her to join the team and
Yeah,
everything?
if she could
Yeah,
join the
yeah, yeah.
team.
Yeah, so again, she's been there 2 days and now she's calling the
Mhm.
shots on, who makes the team.
I know, right?
so so yeah, I thought that was kind of that actually to me is more organic. Like, because
Hmm.
from what we know about Lisa, she's swim team trying to like go to the Olympics or something, train for that.
hmm hmm
She's going to Howard and stuff. She does have whether it's
Clean
expounded
reputation.
on or not. Yeah, she has a very so
Yeah.
that
Sure.
actually felt natural. Like,
Yeah.
she felt some kind of way, like, I'm not the good, I'm not just a good girl, and they're like, nah, Lisa, you really are.
Hmm.
Like, so yeah, I definitely think out of everything we've talked about today for this episode, and
That felt
really like
the most
that
organic.
probably, yeah, that just felt the most like if I
Yeah.
somebody felt I was nice. And even like still like going back and like talking back about Ashley, like I feel like that could have been her plot as well. Like,
Hmm.
Banks, we think you're like too nice, too
Yeah.
geeky and stuff like that. And then she just started acting out. It's just there's like no rhyme or reason to why Ashley's doing what she's doing. But for Lisa, them teasing her and stuff, like, she about to graduate, she in high school, and like I
Hmm.
think she said she didn't want to be remembered as just the nice girl, like in a yearbook or something like that. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
she's gonna crash out or,
Yeah. Yeah.
become
And she's just
crazy or
trying to leave
whatever.
a
But
mark. I think her joining the
yeah,
dance team is a natural, like you said, that is a natural thing. Let me like not be known for a little bit more than just this. And it's not like it doesn't portray her character in a way, like you said, or it's not like
yeah.
she's, wilding out, going crazy, like, stealing and stuff like that. So I will
Right.
say, I think the actress name is Simone Jones. I feel like this is like the best she's looked like all show. Like she came correct this season. I think she's doing a good job acting wise too. So I think that's kind of helps by her arc a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk a little bit more about what Lisa does at the homecoming dance because I think that's where
Yeah,
we see sort of the culmination of her desire to be, I guess, seen as a bit more of a rebellious spirit,
yeah.
more, off, less goody two shoes, less, what do they call her, auntie? They call her aunt, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So trying to break that sort of impression that people have of her.
yeah.
But in the homecoming, so again with the white cess and the black cess, the conflict creates an issue, and so what black cess does is decides to have a homecoming, their own homecoming dance at a local sort of restaurant slash kind of hangout area, and it's actually pretty popular. But then again, it's like movie and TV popular, where it's like way more people are there to make it look full than probably what
Yeah,
would actually show up,
yeah.
in the real life.
I
I
literally was
mean,
thinking about that. I'm like, but there's no way they got all these people. And I'm like, did they charge tickets or like that joint looks expensive? So
I don't know. I can't imagine anyone would go if they charge tickets. It's like what?
yeah,
Because I mean, again, we talked the whole idea of black cess, which is it kind of alienates anyone who isn't black in a way because
yeah.
it's not inclusive. So it's like if you're hosting an event that is black cess, that's going to probably make a group who isn't black feel alienated, I imagine, to a degree, right?
Well,
So
it's kind of it depends. I know like I guess real life example. They have like the NAACP or like Afrotech and stuff, they're like host events and it will be like a rod array of people. Like if you ever been to Afrotech in like Houston or something
hmm
like that,
right,
there's always like a bunch of people there. So I guess
sure,
Black Sets was just sponsoring it or like they're hosting it, but people like cultural events. I think it makes sense that people would still pull up, I guess. But I think definitely like it was like mad people. I'm like the whole school decided to ditch their homecoming and come this one. I thought that was, I don't know if that was the most realistic, but sometimes we gotta put ourselves in the world of the show. Like even like Aunt Viv's paintings and say, oh, these are so amazing. Like, okay, they may not be the best paintings in our eyes, but in the world of the
right,
show, they're fantastic.
sure,
And in that world, Black Sessions too, because they had the scene where like they had the other races like wearing the merch and stuff, and that I was like, would this really happen in real life? No, but like like at least the way it's designed, like there's black owned brands that are very creative and like that people love to wear, that still may have a message, but aren't that are a little more like it's not I don't want to say acceptable, but like makes sense that like more people wear it. But just like Nolan said, just a shirt with black says I can't see a bunch of other races just wearing a shirt with that says black that's on it. Like realistically, you know. But I guess in the world of the show, though, it's the coolest thing in the world. Everyone wants grabbing it, wants this. So I don't know, but
I know that within the context, they're playing off the word of black access, black cess,
yeah.
but would it work with any other race? Could any other race get away with, besides white? Obviously, that shows it doesn't. But I'm
It
just
was
thinking, like,
black success. I thought that's what it was.
I
Like
thought it was
black.
black access, like black cess. No, black
I thought
success.
it maybe I thought it was
I
black
can't
success.
remember.
I don't know if it was black
Again, it's
access.
so corny. I don't even care. It's like just
Yeah,
throw it away
they
and
could
start
have done. I
over.
don't know. Yeah, they could have done something differently with that. But even if it was just a crown, I could see that being tough, like merch. But you know, you got everything on there. But could other? I don't know. I don't know if other races could pull it off. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know.
I was looking it up just to see, like, it's I think it's access.
Oh, it is access. Okay.
I think so.
I don't know why I thought it was always black
Anyways. So at
success.
the homecoming dance, we have the Black Cess dancers, which Nolan found hilarious. I thought their choreography was fine. They neat outfits. Lisa getting her groove on,
Yeah, cool little dance sequence.
and then of course we see Ashley being a little hellion, trying to, I guess, spike the punch,
Hmm.
right?
No, I don't think she spiked it. She just had snuck in some wine for her and her friends.
Yeah, it was some
Oh,
champagne.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Has she drank before? Have we seen that before in the show?
Nah, I
I
think
can't
this is the
remember.
first time. Nah, because she's never broke bad before. She's trying to be a
Yeah.
Right. She's just going all out.
yeah. She's going like, all right, she's
Everybody's trying to break their old,
yeah.
stories.
Like she's stomping out chicks at school. She drinking.
She
She
dating,
drinking
sneaking guys in,
drinking
drinking.
40s
Okay.
now. She turned up.
And she don't even care. She's like, chill out.
She's working with Jeffrey, running the crime scene herself.
The
Yeah, didn't we say she
mastermind.
was
We'll
behind
find
everything
out.
like
We
last?
thought that,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
So
that
who
could really
knows?
be her.
That would be a great eighth episode reveal, season finale reveal.
Oh,
She's the actual boss. She's
there's cracks in
the
the
high
surface
table, so to
showing.
speak.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
have a little argument between Amira and Carlton, and Amira basically tells Carlton, "Listen, we're done. I don't want to be like second fiddle to you, and I don't want to be someone who you have to, wait for me, and I'm not going to wait for you. So let's just go our separate ways." So I think we're done there, unless you think they're gonna. Well, again, you guys have seen more of the episodes than I have, but I mean, I imagine she'll still be a part of the show, and there probably will be some kind of will they, won't they, over the course of the
Yeah,
season.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
curious where they
you
go
know
with it.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
I actually don't know. I've only watched the first three
Same. I've
episodes to
only
this
seen
point.
one more
All
after
right.
this one, so I don't know what they bring her. I would say they brought her back as a series regular this time, so I mean I assume she's going to be more prevalent in the plot, but I don't know exactly where they could take her. That's going to be super interesting. So we're
Hmm.
Like I said, it
yeah,
was an unnecessary plot line anyway.
Hmm. Right.
I mean, if you bring her back, bump into her at a party, like literally the homecoming party, like she could have popped up there. But you put her at the school, and she's now dance captain and doing choreography at the homecoming party that's Black Sis, sponsored or ran by and stuff. And she's getting axed out by the football player that's known her for 72 hours. It's just like I said, it's a plot it's a character and a plot that's not necessarily needed. She could have
Yeah.
just, I feel like, me personally, like seeing how she's used, I feel like having Carlton go with the cheerleader girl and then possibly bumping into Amira down the line to really test to see, his feelings for the new girl, and then not really expecting to run into Amira, and then they kind of catching up, and then he's starting to realize like maybe there is something that I feel like that again would have been a bit more organic, not
Mm,
inserting her at the school or whatever. Like I just feel like there's just so many things that could have been written better about some of these people that wouldn't have um like I said, like weighed down the plots, weighed down
hmm.
the episodes, and it just been more natural. Like and the reactions would have been taken a little bit better than what they are. But again, I'm not no writer. I'm just here critiquing. I'm gonna critique. I'm definitely gonna do that.
That's right. Critiquer's gonna critique. I hear you. So we have the Will and Lisa go into the back room and start get freaky with one another, and then they're called out as homecoming king and queen, and so they got to kind of pop out of the back room, all looking like they just were with one another, so they're not really hiding much of it. And then at the end of the episode, everything seems like it's all gravy, but we find out that oh no, it turns out that Jeffrey was doing some playing both sides, which his boss didn't like. And so now they're sending the cops over to go and arrest Carlton and Will for messing up with the G Wagon. So kind of a little cliffhanger there. I know you guys know what happens, but I don't know what happens in episode three. So obviously they're not going to jail, or if they are, they're just gonna, it's gonna be for a few minutes because their dad will get them
Continue.
out. Um, I don't know. I mean, what do we think about this sort of impending ominous presence that Jeffrey's employers are going to have over the family and the control they're having over Will and not Will, but Phil?
Yeah, I would say it's still hard to see Jeffrey like not in that position of control or power that he normally is. You
Right.
know, he's very much um like chasing this time and not the one that's actually in control. But I still think he's still probably the most interesting storyline. I think I still enjoy Jeffrey scenes and seeing his conflict. To me, that's like probably my favorite part of the show so far. You know, I think he's just a cool character. It's cool what they did with Jeffrey.
Right.
Like from like he was just a house manager, the butler from the original Fresh Prince. In this show, he's like really like a lot layered and very has such an interesting backstory. So I don't know, I still think it's cool, but I guess we got to see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it does give an interesting dynamic from just like family home life, sort of,
Yeah,
you know, what is it? Kids drama type of 90210 sort of high school love stuff. So, there
yeah,
is that.
exactly.
It does kind of like
I think
give.
that is better. Yeah, like it's just the contrast between the general love triangles. That's just okay. This is just a show, and Jeffrey's like I can see a Jeffrey spinoff where he's getting done. Actually, the boss man. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I think we talked about like a Jeffrey John Wick style offshoot
Yeah,
show,
man.
just following
Let's
him.
make it happen. Come on, Peacock.
Him and Ashley.
Yo,
Um,
the unlikely duo. It's gonna be like Man on Fire.
she can
They're gonna be
he can
like what was it on
Oh, train. No, what's the joint with
I was gonna say,
Denzel?
what's the movie on Kick Ass? Big Daddy and Hit Girl.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what they go. That's
Yo,
what they
Hit
gonna end up
Girl.
being like.
the whole Banks family is decimated, and it's now Jeffrey's
Oh.
responsibility to take Ashley under his care as his charge, and he will raise her in the world of underground assassinations or whatever. But I thought that was one of the lines I liked between Jeffrey and Viv in the middle of the episode was about trust and how that line really did a lot in revealing kind of his role in all the behind the scenes stuff that we thought about, like for instance the drug dealer in
Yeah.
um, Philly that was threatening Will, like he took him out. Like they not had they
Yeah, that is
revealed
kind
that?
of crazy that like they just like yo, you got someone smoked for us? Like they just kind of cool with that. Like
Like I think that was the first time they admitted it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's the first time like even though it was obviously into that, but that's the first time that it's explicitly said. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Like I thought that was a very cool scene and I do like, Jeffrey's like my one priority has been your family and then they get into
Hmm.
it a lot more in the next episode. But But I don't know. When I'm like, yo, he had someone killed. That's kind of crazy.
If he didn't do it himself, I mean,
Yeah, like if he had got arrested or like maybe he was like, I think a more family friendly version would have been like the drug dealer got shipped to like some off-state prison or like his whole gang's arrested.
Yeah.
I think I could sleep a little better at night knowing that he just got him smoked and like I don't. That's a little wild, but I mean it's cool, but it is a little wild.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it'll be interesting to see how that whole storyline is going to evolve. And yeah, I think, Jeffrey's sort of story is something I think for us olds to like watch because, we can't as well connect to the younger storylines, but, Jeffrey's story and Phil's story really, I mean, those are more like, well, I think what the show does and why it's such a great four quadrant show is that it appeals to
The
younger and
different,
older
yeah,
audiences. It
different
gives
audiences
something for
definitely.
everybody.
Yeah, I can see that the grownish crowd who like the teen drama like that, and even the older crowd who are more into like the politics or like the dynamics of raising a family that they can appeal more to. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think it's a good point.
All right, now let's of course talk about Hill and Jazz's story this episode. Oh wait, there was no Hill and Jazz this.
I was about to say, wait a second. I think I was missing something. Yo, Hill hasn't even been in like none of these episodes.
Well, she was in the first
She
episode.
was in the first one, yeah, but she wasn't in this one a lot.
No, no. Well, she's chilling
Yeah,
from.
was she in episode 3?
She wasn't.
We'll find out.
Actually, I guess we'll
Yeah.
find out when she
Yeah, yeah. I
was
was about to
not
say
in.
I can't remember, but now that I'm thinking about the plot, what happened in episode 3, yeah, yeah. Spoiler alert, Dave, but I mean not really a spoiler
But
alert.
it's not like a plot point. It's not a
Yeah,
plot point that
it's
she's
not
not there.
really.
She's just not there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coco
All
out
right.
there getting that album done.
All
She
right.
was
Oh
like,
yeah,
hey.
Coco is busy this season.
Yeah.
Yo,
Indeed, indeed. All
Mhm.
right, guys. Well, I think we hit all the major story beats. Unless there's anything you want to discuss that I forgot to mention. It felt like a very sort of quick and I don't know, not a
Yeah,
lot of meat on the bone this episode, but I don't know. If there's
yeah.
anything you guys want to talk about that I forgot?
it
I
was
would
kind of rushed
say,
through.
yeah, Rush. I would say still not bad. I think watching all three at one time made for a better experience.
Right.
Because um, overall, I think that, like I said last episode, with this show, I'm not mad at this season so far compared to earlier seasons, where like at one point I was like couldn't even get through it. I was like, these decisions was crazy. This one is still a little bit of that, but I'm still on board to see where they're bringing things. Like I said, I really like this next episode where I can't wait to get into that one with y'all, and then curious to see where the rest of the season goes. Hopefully, it doesn't disappoint me.
Okay. Cool. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I think this will wrap up this week's episode of Saved by the Bell, the Bel-Air podcast. Join us next week when we'll be talking about episode 3. And if you've already seen the entire series because it's all out, great, good for you. You can still follow us and pretend like you're part of the conversation and talk about the topics and
We're making this for the future. Those people who's watching the show and they're like, "Oh,
exactly.
there's a podcast to go with it." Welcome.
There you go. There you go. All right, cool. All right, well, for Gyasi and Nolan, this is Dave Murphy, and we'll see you all next week. Bye, everybody.
See ya. I appreciate y'all watching.
Later.